Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. It's time for another 101 sketchbook challenge. And I am going to be working from page 91 this time. I will be using the Painted Garden collection, and I will link it in the description box below this video to the original blog post if you would like to see the measurements for that one. I am, as usual, going off script a little bit and showing you a slightly different interpretation of the sketch, and we are adding some larger photos to this layout. I hope you all enjoy what I'm going to be doing here. And if you don't already have a Creative Memories advisor, I hope you will consider me for that job. I am happy to help you with your projects, and I would love to see your interpretations of the sketch as well. Feel free to tag me on Facebook or Instagram. I am Creative Pages with Catherine on both of those, just like I am here on YouTube. So let's get started and have some fun. All right, well, I put a binder clip because I already have an idea for another sketch and I didn't want to lose my place. So move that out of the way, show you all the sketch. If you would like to get a screenshot of what I'm going to be doing, I do always write my mat sizes and whatever other papers on my book. And I'm using pencil so that way I can come back and add more later if I choose. But I'm also writing in a book, and I just figure it's a little bit nicer to write in pencil in a book than in pen like I do on the virtual crop sketches. For this layout, we are going to be using our dark green cardstock for the base of both sides, and I have a little something I'm going to try to hold up to the camera. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not before I flip over my paper. Yes. We are going to be pulling out a couple of pens here, and I tested on the back side of my paper. The line on the left here is in Clover Green. It's one of our new pen colors. I'll show you in just a moment. And the one on the right is our black journal pen. And you'll see what we're going to be doing with those coming up. I think I'm probably going to go with the Clover Green. I wasn't sure how well it would show up on camera, so I wanted to show you all my test lines there. These are what the pens look like. The Clover Green is found in our rainbow pen set that comes with this really cute rainbow dot pen roll holder. And you can see all my pens are in there. And I can even add, I believe, 3 more, including my black one and a couple others. I just haven't added them yet. I've kept it with the original. You got 6 of our dot tip pens and 6 of our dual tip pens, and you get that extra fabric roll to carry them to your crops or wherever you'd like to go with them. And it's just super duper handy to have. And I showed you all in our sketch number 2 for the March 2024 virtual crop a couple other things to do with the pens, or another thing to do with the pens. But as I was putting that sketch together, I used Painted Garden for that one as well, and it inspired me to do this one also because I came across the green, light mint green hummingbird paper that has the darker floral grassy look on the back. And I also had kind of gone through some of my mats, and what I have left, I just have these really pretty green palette mats, and I'll show you everything I'm going to be using in just a few moments. But I want to start with the left side of my layout first. And if you noticed on our sketch, we have kind of a diamond shape we're going to be creating on this layout. And they kind of cut off a little bit more. They did a 4-inch square, and I'm doing a 6-inch square. So I took the one sheet of hummingbird paper, I cut it at 6 inches and cut it again at 6 inches, and I had 4 squares that came out from this one sheet of paper. So you can see these are my squares. And then I put it on my trimmer with the points lined up in my cutting lane and got my diamonds. So those are going to go into the corners of our layout here. And I just liked the cleaner look of it lining up at the corners. So of course, you can do my interpretation, you can do your own interpretation. I just like to give you all a little bit of an extra idea of what else you can be doing with these sketches. I'm going to probably use a combination of repositionable and regular tape runner on these because of the corners. I don't want them flapping. And I think the repositionable is going to help hold that a little bit better. So let's just put a little bit of our regular tape runner first. And then we'll grab the repositionable and use our border mat in case we go off the end, which of course, that's kind of what you do. With the triangles, you're going to wind up going off the end, I think, at some point, regardless. And the repositionable just makes it so easy. Apparently I had a little loose piece there from what I was cutting. Well, it's okay. It happens. This is the back side of the paper, so nobody is going to see it. All right. Let's go ahead and start getting these placed. And you just want to line it up nice and tight with your corners, following the line of your cardstock here. And the nice thing about the hummingbird paper is it's not completely directional. I mean, some of our hummingbirds are kind of going upside down and right side up, but it kind of works with these, putting them in the corners like this. Let's see if I can actually get this one lined up. There we go. So that is something you will have to keep in mind for whichever paper you pick to put in your corners, is make sure it's not a super directional paper, or else you're going to have some that are sideways and some that are won't look right in your corners. In fact, I think that's probably why they picked a gingham on the inspiration sketch, because then you don't have to worry at all about it. Okay. So for the left side of the page, for each side of the page, I have one mat that's 4.5 by 6.5, and this mat is directional. It's the darker green grass, kind of like the back side of our hummingbird paper with the print, and then this one has pink on the back, but we're going to use it this way. And this one, like I said, is directional. So I have another one that's going to go on the other side that's also directional. Let's see. This one's here. So this one is one of our 4x6 mats. It has the little berry branch on it. One fine day on the back. I found these really pretty birds that we're going to use with Bloom Wildly on the back there. And I did pull out a sheet of our designer paper, also the one with the floral ombre, I guess, if you will. It has a kind of a multicolor design to it. It has the wood sections on the back. So this is how our page is going to set up. And so it's definitely different than the inspiration piece, which is more linear, but they also use smaller photos on there. They're using 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 photos, which are just too small for me. I don't mind trimming some of my photos a little bit, but that's a lot. So this is going to give you another idea of something you can do with it. And we're going to go about a 1/2 inch from the corner here, and I'm just going to put it lightly down just to make sure that that's where I want to be. And you can pull out your 0 centering ruler. You can work on your 13 by 13 mat. I think I've actually, since I've started to do so many of these, I feel like I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing it. But I also am okay if something is slightly off because, you know, it's homemade. It's okay if something is just ever so slightly off, except for sometimes for me, if the mats are off, it does throw me off a little bit. Okay, oops. And something that's not straight, which is why I didn't push things down. Let's see here. My birds are not quite straight there either. Okay, feeling pretty good about this. And you can see we have some green space in the center here. And we're going to fill this with our flower pot with the really pretty blooms in it. This just kind of helps tie in all of our colors on our page. And I have 2 bumblebees. Uh-oh, one of my bumblebees didn't want to stick to the sticker backing. And with this one's going to be visiting the flower. So we are going to kind of cluster a little bit. It's going to overlap the flower pot here just ever so slightly, going to this towards this pink flower. And then this other bee is going to be coming in from up here. And you can put it on a foam square if you want, and I'm kind of offsetting it, just angling it a little bit. But this is where our pen is going to come in, just to add a little bit of emotion behind our bumblebee. And I'm just adding a little bit of a swirl along the way here. So I will hold that up to the camera so you can see what I've done. I did like the spring green, but if you, like I said, if you have the black journal pen, that will show up as well. But I kind of like the idea of it being more subtle on the page, and you can see it clearly. It's just very, you just kind of would have to look a little closer. And of course, we want people looking closer at our photos more as well. And then we have these little enamel gem bits. The highly technical terms here in our embellishment pack. And I thought this kind of would be a nice little add-on. We want to make sure it stays within the page frame, but just to kind of cover up where our diamonds overlap, or not the diamonds, but the half squares overlap a little bit, because of course mine aren't perfect, but this little gem will help cover any flaws, and it's going to just kind of add a little sparkle to our page as well. So here we go. Left side of the page is done. Let me see if I can you can see the bumblebee swirl-ish, maybe. There you go. And here's the other one. So just added a couple little loop-de-loops in there. And there's the rest of our page. Not bad. You definitely kind of get a little bit of a geometric effect, but I think our photos are going to look stunning on this page. What I would do with this one, let me see if I have a little, I do. So I have a little 4-inch wide piece of paper here, I think, So this is a 4-inch wide piece of paper. So if you do this photo 4x4, I mean, you could do it 4 by, a little bit under, or you could actually do it so where it's going to sit up a little bit on your mat as well, or down, depending on how you want your photo to look. But work with the print on the journal mat a little bit for that one, because it is a little bit more than, whereas This one definitely will frame your photo and help it to pop. This one you have a little more of a print to work with. So I think I've shown you all before sometimes where I will offset my photos on my mats. I don't, I mean, just like I don't always follow the sketches, I don't always follow my mat lines either when they're on the pages. So sometimes I'll put a vertical photo on a horizontal mat or vice versa. Sometimes, like I said, you can just easily work with where the birds are and put your photo here and just, that way you'll see a little bit of the decoration, but you also will get your photo on as well. And I think it would look kind of, if you just had that 1/4 of an inch, you only see like a beak of a bird or a little end. So if you put your photo right there, it would kind of cut it off kind of funny, in my opinion. Oops, if I can hold it up and show you at the same time. But if you go just that little bit further down, you see how it just will also really offset where you will notice the photo a bit more. Hopefully that helps show you all a little bit of the way I kind of do things. And yes, I've gotten so busy filming all of these sketches and trying to keep on schedule with my Thursday, Sunday videos that I haven't had a chance to film a couple of my other videos I want to do for you all to show you just how I do put some of my photos on my pages and things like that. But we'll get there. Not to worry. It's eventually I always get caught up. It's just been a challenging month. My husband had a surgery and February was kind of a wash for me. I was really glad I was able to keep up with my filming schedule and do the virtual crop and everything else that I did in February. So things are getting better now, and hopefully I can film a little bit ahead and then be able to get this other series done for you all as well. So we'll get there. Just might take me a little bit. We all have lives though, right? There's always something going on. Okay, so I've started on the right side of the page, and I'm doing the same thing with the 6-inch squares. I'm putting a little bit of repositionable tape to reinforce the corners, and then I will show you all the mats I picked out for this side. And here we go. Oops. Okay, so the hummingbirds are in the corners again. I have the silver leafed ombre green mat that has the I must have flowers on the back side of it. And this one is going down here. Our other, that was a 4x6. This one is our 4x6 ombre again, or the just colorful leaves, I guess. We have a 4x6 mat with the branch on it that has spring fever and hummingbirds on the back, which might have been cute, but I think it would have been harder to put a photo on that one. So I'm using the branch side. Yeah, I think it's just too many hummingbirds together. But up to you. Like I said, I just give you all ideas and you do what you want for your pages. And then finally, this is the 4.5 by 6.5 that matches the print on the other side of the page that has lines on the back side of it. And that one's going to go across this way here on this side. Okay, let's get these down now that we've got the placement. And again, we'll go about 1/2 inch from the edges here. And I'm just going to lightly place them initially. Oops. You could put your leaf, I guess, at the top, but it looks, to me, it looked a little better at the bottom here. I guess because the point stem part of the leaf is at that top left there. All right, maybe I got it a little straighter this time. Let's see where I'm at. Sometimes when I look at it on the camera, see if I'm straight or not with some of these. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're looking at it straight on, right? Especially when you've got little points of things on your page as well. Okay, so for this side of the page, I have a little saying, "This fills my heart," that I found on our sticker set. And we're going to add our hummingbird onto this side of the page. And we're going to add some motion to our hummingbird as well. Grabbing out my spring leaf pen again. Let me put away my journal pen here. I think maybe we'll just kind of give this one a little motion coming from this direction. Bigger bird, a bigger motion. I don't think I'm going to do around the wings like I did on the other one. I think I'm just going to leave it with just the movement down here. And I do have some more of the enameled gems again for our 4 edges here. Again, like I said, make sure that they stay on the page so that way you can get your page protector over this easily. So I went a little too far from the edge on that one. There we go. Maybe just putting your thumb on the outside of the page helps now that I'm on the almost on the last one here. But the nice thing is that these are self-adhesive, so you don't have to worry about trying to get any adhesive on them. You just place them on the page, push them down, and they stick. So that's awesome. Here we go. Here's our right side of our page all done. And there's my little, so you can see the swirlies with the green pen. You just need to, like I said, it's subtle. And you might need to take a closer look to actually see it. So let me bring in both of my pages for y'all to see them side by side, turning that single page layout into a double page layout for spring. Or I guess it could be for summer. I know when we were in New Mexico, they had a hummingbird festival that was in the summer. So I have some really awesome hummingbird pictures. I think I've got them already on pages, but here's our inspiration sketch. And you can see there's definitely was more linear, and mine is definitely set for the larger photos. But I think it still works. Y'all can leave me a comment and let me know, or hit the thumbs up if you like it. And let's move on to our card. That's one of the other things I've been doing, is challenging myself to make a card either inspired by the sketch or using up some of our scraps. So let me get that together here. Here is my card base, my blank card base from one of our blank card kits. I have I think this one was a little more inspired by the sketch. So I have a piece of dark green cardstock. This one is 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm just going to go ahead and run it through the center of my card. Okay, I have my 0 centering ruler out. Let's line this up because we know our card is 4 1/4, so we needed it 1 1/8. I'm sorry, 2 1/8 on our 0 centering ruler because the 0's in the center, and it helps us to get things lined up quickly and easily. Our piece was 3.5, so we should be a little bit over 1.5, close to that 1 3/4. Yep, right in between the 1 3/4 going down. Whoops. Okay, there we go. All right, so don't always pull out the ruler, but for that one I thought it would be helpful, which it is. In our embellishment pack, let me scoot this back in. In our embellishment pack, I found this wreath here, which sometimes I struggle to put these onto my pages. And I just found that I just really love the look of it on this card. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's use some repositionable tape to get in all these nooks and crannies on this thing. Okay. And that does have kind of an oval shape to it. So be aware as you're putting it on the card, you don't want to do that because it's going to run off the edges of the card. But on this other direction where the oval is less wide, it works out perfectly on our card front, except for I need to make sure I turn it just a little bit. Stay on the card. There we go. And I've also pulled out our Hello Spring, and I found one more of our little berry branches, just like what we had on our mat on the other layout that we just did. I'm going to pull out some foam tape for this one because it's a little bit of a longer embellishment, and I'm finding that the foam tape is a little more economical than using up quite so many foam squares. So let's just run that through the center of there. Go ahead and grab off the backing of the tape, and I'm going to stick my berry branch coming out from under if I can pick it up. This was on our sticker set. All right, where am I here? I want this coming out from behind our Hello Spring, following the line, of the wreath. So this is gonna, okay, so that's good to know. My foam tape makes it so it's far enough up so it's not gonna interfere with my berry branch. So I'm just gonna put this under where you can still see the berries and some of the branch coming out, just like it's part of the wreath, but it's just adding a pop of color as well. Let me see where I want that. There we go. So it becomes a little bit more of a layer with some color. And then we have a ton of ladybugs on our sticker set for this collection. So I pulled a bunch out, and they are going to be our decoration on our wreath, just adding some pops of color. They do kind of say spring, and I know there's the helpful ladybugs and there's the harmful ladybugs because I love to garden also. And you just kind of have to know which ones you're getting to know which ones are invasive and which ones are beneficial for your garden. I believe it's the orange ones are the ones that are invasive, and the red ones are the friendly ones, the ones that are actually beneficial. But somebody may need to look that up. I'm sure Google can answer that one and let you know. This one's going to just go across here. It almost looks like we have a little invasion of ladybugs, but it really does add some extra color to our card. And I pulled out our red gems, and now I'm not sure if we need them. So it kind of reminds me almost a little bit of like the holly berries you see on your Christmas wreaths, except for they're ladybugs. And I wonder if should we add some red gems as well? Hang on, let me cut one off. Let's see here. I don't think I'm going to add mine to my card. I did pull out the red gems. And if you want to add some, I was thinking about maybe at the top and the bottom of the card. Initially, I think I was thinking about adding them to the wreath as well, but I think our ladybugs have that covered. Let me just show you. I kind of placed these to show you what it could look like with the gems on it as well. But I think I like it without. I tend to like it a little simpler. So I think this is going to be my version of the card, inspired by using some scraps on this one. It wasn't inspired by our sketch this time because we definitely had the diagonal thing going on our sketch this time. And this one has the round, but it just works for spring. I just thought it was really pretty, and you can send it just as a fun card to a friend. And we can even put inside here, there's a, oops, get this out of here. There's just birds and bees and flowers and trees. I don't know, I guess that doesn't make as much sense inside of the card. We have homegrown happiness, and we have I must have flowers. So, if you want to send some flowers to a friend or something, you could add one of your stickers from your sticker set, the homegrown happiness, or I must have flowers for signs of spring, fresh blooms. There's so many really cute little sentiments you can add inside your card, and I kind of showed you on one of my recent cards. I tend to add them to the left side. You can add it to the right, of course, but if you add it to the left side, it leaves your whole right side for writing for whatever you want to write to a friend. Let them know you're thinking about them. People love getting homemade cards in the mail, and you'll be surprised. I usually get a text, "Oh, what a beautiful card. I can tell you made it." People appreciate them. So that's it for this one. And, well, I'll be back. I've got lots more to do in this book. So we'll keep going with it. Until next time.